Hello and welcome to the news for May the 4th. I am once again alone this week, but it is entirely for good reason as Godfoot had some stuff happen. And, it was better for him to go to bed after dealing with things that occurred rather than staying up super late and destroying his sleep schedule to review the news. So I will try to make this short. Let's just jump into it. We don't have a lot to cover this week, but hey, some interesting things. First off, Activision Blizzard has approved the proposed Microsoft transaction of them being bought up. The stockholders are cool with it. It still has to go through some approvals, but overall, everything looks like it's going to happen and there's not going to be any stopping it. Obviously, when I talked about this earlier, this was a thing that I felt was a way for people in charge to avoid responsibility for a lot of the stuff that happened with the recent controversies. And everybody's got their own opinion on that, but overall, maybe the games will improve, and that's what I'm hoping for. I genuinely hope that a lot of the neglect and mistreatment of Blizzard IPs gets rectified when Microsoft takes over. Things like Overwatch, with Overwatch not having been supported for hundreds of days, and World of Warcraft's state with Shadowlands. I just want to see a lot of IPs get fixed, and I want to see a lot of the older ones possibly get updated. So, hey, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Next up, we got to talk about Meta, and they are doing a lot of things. They, as I spoke about last week, have been really pushing their metaverse thing, and currently they are working on 4 new VR headsets that are going to come out by 2024. One of them, from what I've read, is focused on being like a work headset where you can send texts, you can write, you can code. As it says here, you can work on code without taking off the headset, ultimately replacing the need for a monitor at your desk. The other ones are probably modifications of that, and better versions of things that already exist. New Quest headsets are going to come out in 2023 and 2024. There'll be a high-end one and a budget one, and then just in general, lots and lots and lots of stuff coming out from Facebook and Meta, just focusing on VR, which ties right into their second thing that they're going to be spoken about this week. The fact that Meta has basically burned, and I mean straight up just burned, almost $3 billion on Reality Labs with their Horizon Worlds thing. I don't know if you've seen any preview like footage or snapshots or anything of Horizon Worlds, but it's not good. It looks really cheap. There were a few other VR spaces already that honestly look better. You've got VR Chat, you've got Sansar was one of them, High Fidelity, a lot of these little worlds that were created to fill this space. And Facebook has somehow managed to burn like 37 times the budget, 37 times the budget of Witcher 3 on their Reality Labs. So it's losing about $3 billion a quarter and only pulling about 650 million in. We'll really have to see what they managed to pull out of their butts to get people interested in this, because I don't think here's the thing is, I don't know a lot of people in our generation and a lot of gamers and stuff that really support Facebook and Meta or have anything they want to do with them, especially Gen Zers. They don't have anything they want to do with Facebook or Meta as it's called now. So I'm not sure that dumping $3 billion into development for stuff that caters to people who don't like your product is the best, but we'll have to see. I personally will never touch it. I will never touch Horizon Worlds unless it's to basically point out just this is what $3 billion gets you. But I don't understand his whole concept of a metaverse. I don't think a lot of people do, and they want their facial expressions translated into Horizon Worlds and a bunch of other stuff, but like, where's the comeback for the money? Like, where's the return gonna come from? And don't get me wrong, all the technology they're trying to develop is cool, but why? Why Meta? Why this? Hitman 3's game director will lead Crysis 4 in development. By the way, there's another Crysis coming for anyone that didn't know. And Hitman 3's game director did a pretty good job. Hitman 3 was pretty awesome. Crytek's chugging along, recruiting a bunch of people, getting a ton of people ready to work on Crysis 4. And hey, that's good. I like the Crysis series. We'll see if it can become the new benchmark test as far as like breaking PC go. But hey, I'm hopeful for it. No need to be negative. We have a big announcement with the Embracer Group to acquire Crystal Dynamics, Eidos, whatever, Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, which, you know, includes control of Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and other IPs. Now, we're going to have another story that will follow up right after this, but the TLDR is that they managed to steal a ridiculous bargain from Square Enix to be able to get control of these brands. I'm really excited for a new company that wants to do stuff with Deus Ex to get it, but 300 million is like nothing for the potential of these franchises. I mean, I think Tomb Raider plus Deus Ex made more than 300 million in like single games. And so this is just pretty unbelievable. Oh, Embracer Group was originally Nordic Games, by the way, before acquiring THQ assets. So yeah, it was Nordic Games, but it's Embracer Group now, and they've bought a bunch of IPs, which means that we could get new stuff, but I think it's just absolutely crazy. One of my theories with this is that with these things being sold off like this, I'm wondering if Square Enix is going to go up for sale soon. Like the proper company, maybe to Microsoft or something like that. We'll just have to see, and hey, who knows? Like I said, next story tied into the previous. Tomb Raider publisher sells iconic video game franchise to invest in blockchain. Now, this ties into the 300 million we just talked about, and this apparently involves blockchain. It enables the launch of new businesses by moving forward with investments in fields including blockchain, AI, and the cloud. So they want to buy they want to buy blockchain stuff, NFTs, crypto, whatever. I don't even think I need to talk about how dumb it is to give up some of your best franchises for so little money. And I mean little in the regards to like how much I think the franchises are worth and how much they could make, but just to burn it on this stuff. But you know, let's see what happens. Hey, it could or could not blow up in their face. Please let me know what you think about this. This is one of the subjects I'm genuinely curious about. God, just so much. Why are they spending 300 million on blockchain? Maybe it's a big brain move, and I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it doesn't look like that market right now is doing very well. It's been going down pretty hard today. Next up, Activision says Call of Duty Vanguard did not meet expectations due to our own execution. Now, actually impressive that they owned up to it, saying that, hey, we screwed up. The game did not make billions of dollars like we expect with exponential growth. It's obvious based on last month or last week, 2 weeks ago, the news that I said that I didn't like Call of Duty Vanguard kind of matches up with what they're saying here. PC Gamer specifically gave it a 60%, and Vanguard as a whole was not that great. It didn't bring a lot of people back. It actually drove a lot of people away, as you saw with the 50 million players being lost, shedding 50 million players, as I said here, and lots of lower engagement in Warzone and stuff like that. But honestly, nobody liked Vanguard, or very few people liked Vanguard. And I don't know how many times they're going to do World War II over and over and over again, but I think less and less people are ever going to go back to those sorts of games. We've got the Bethesda and Xbox Games showcase on Sunday, June 12th. I will probably do a reaction to this. I want to sit down and make videos about this sort of content. I know a lot of you enjoy that sort of stuff where we break down and we react to the trailers. Probably will do camera with that too, with Godfoot in the room, and we'll just do it live and then have our editor cut it together and just give our opinions on everything, which should be fun. So we'll see you there. I've got no expectations going into this, negative or positive, so we'll just have to see what happens. And again, that's Sunday at June 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Timed game trials are now a requirement for some PlayStation developers, and Sony is requiring developers to create time trials for their games to include in PlayStation Plus premium plans, which to me is a good thing. I think the fact that we're getting demos back is awesome. Essentially demos. And it stands to reason that they might just let you play the game for like an hour or two, but that's pretty sweet. Either way, we're getting demos. You get to try before you buy if you've got the plans going, and then, you know, what do you expect? That's good, especially since this is going to be tied into the PlayStation Plus plans and all the other things we talked about last week. Go back, watch the news if you haven't. I will drop these articles, by the way, in the description down below, so make sure to check them out if you want to read them in full. I try not to go on and on and on too long and read through everything specifically, and just give you a summary of what's happened to keep you up to date. Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake changes developers again, and Ubisoft Montreal, which created the series, is now developing the remake. I can tell you right now that when the remake is being worked on and it gets juggled, that's not good. that definitely implies that there's a lot of bad stuff going on. Previously, Ubisoft Pune and Ubisoft Mumbai were developing the title, but now, you know, you've got Ubisoft Montreal working on it, and hey, we'll see how well that transitions over. We'll see if the game ends up better. I want to actually be able to remember this so that when we do look into the game and I review it in the future, I can probably look and see if you can tell where the development started on one company and end with another. But they did do a press release about it on Twitter, and you know, I love the Prince of Persia games. I just want it done justice, and I think it could be really, really good given the right opportunities and the proper people working on it. Speaking of Ubisoft, Skull and Bones leaked footage shows mutiny and ship crafting. And there was a leaked video or introductory video that showed off all this stuff. And Skull and Bones is something I've been really excited about. I will find out if it's safe to post the footage, but I doubt that it will. They're probably bringing it down. But it's going to be a type of narrated primer shown to testers or to preview players before they try into the game rather than raw footage of someone playing. We did get to test it out. I did get to test it out a while ago, and it was at a preview event, which was pretty cool, but I haven't gotten to play or hear anything about it since. So hey, you know, it's good that it's still being developed. A lot of people thought it was going to die, and you have NPCs doing grunt work. You've got all that stuff, just fun little mutinies and things if you take them for granted. And honestly, I'm looking forward to playing this game. I hope that it doesn't fall flat on its face. It has had a considerable amount of, I guess you could say, developmental troubles. But with Ubisoft pushing everything back after Breaking Point, so we'll have to see if it's good. And finally, Sifu's dropping in their difficulty settings, and they break it down. Something worth mentioning. I know Sifu was a very loved game by a lot of people. I personally enjoyed it greatly. I think Godfoot is a huge fan of Sifu and has actually 100% of the game. So they do a breakdown. They are adding these difficulty settings. Everybody gets to mess with them, and it'll be cool. It'll be a free update in spring. You get new difficulty settings and all that stuff. So if you were having fun with Sifu and it was too easy, which I haven't heard anyone really say that, you could go back and play through or continue playing through in the harder difficulties. So that'll be fun, and you can check it out. It will be linked below in the description. Anyway, that's going to be it for the news this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, do me a favor and hit like, share it with people if you thought there were any interesting stories, and be sure to give your own opinions down in the comments below, of which I will read and respond to like I normally do. I appreciate everybody that watches the news. I enjoy doing it, even though it's not nearly as popular as some of the other videos on the channel. But for those of you that do sit around and watch, I appreciate you, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye.